Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I'm bringing to you my October TBR. I should say that September is not going as a good reading month for me because I read 30 books in 30 days in August and I expected it will take a toll on me in terms of reading in September, and it is exactly doing that. Not thinking much, I just added a lot of huge books for my September TBR, and because of that I'm not able to read anything at all. So in order to just cool things down and make the reading process a bit more smooth, I'm adding only some books which I'm very excited to read, at the same time only if they are normal in length. I have a total of 8 books here, so without any further ado, let's get into the books right away. The first book in my October TBR is The Astonishing Color of After by Emily Exarpan. If I'm not wrong, this is a book in between genres, that is contemporary and magical realism. Here we follow our main character Lee, whose mother has actually just committed suicide and she has left a note. The note just says, "I want you to remember," but Lee is not able to understand what her mother has tried to say to her through that note. She cannot also turn towards her best friend Axel for comfort because she has just kissed him recently, and because of this everything in between them has changed. While all these overwhelming things are happening in her life, there is this mysterious red bird which just gets into her life, and she just follows it somehow and ends up in Taiwan, where her grandparents are living, and she visits Taiwan for the very first time. After she reaches Taiwan, there are many things which unfold in her life that provide for a lot of soul searching. If I'm not wrong, this book sounds more like magical realism than contemporary. I'm not sure whether it is adult or young adult also, because in the blurb of the book the age of the character is not given, but I can sense that this is going to be a pretty strong and intense read. Since it has this kind of supernatural and mystical vibe to it, I want to read it in October. The next one is a YA romance book, and it is You've Reached Sam by Justin Thao. I've been meaning to read this book also for almost 1 year now. Here we follow our two main characters, Julie and Sam, of whom Sam actually dies, and both of them have been in a relationship in their high school. They had this plan to move out of their small town and get into college together, and also live together while they are doing their college. But Sam dies in the beginning of the book itself, and just in order to hear his voice once more, Julie ends up making a call to his phone in order to hear his voice note. But instead of hearing the voice note, what happens is Sam actually picks up the phone and talks to her. So obviously there is a supernatural element tied to this romance, and every time Julie calls Sam and he attends and talks to her, it just becomes more and more difficult for her to let go of him. I can understand that this story is going to be not just romantic but also super sad, because one of our main characters is dead already in the beginning. I've also heard really great things about this book, so I'm definitely excited to read this soon. The next one is a Dark Academia mystery novel, and it is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. The main reason why I'm putting this on my TBR, even though it's a bit huge, is that I've heard that the best time to read this book is during the chilly weather, and it's finally approaching us here in Chennai, so I want to give this a try in this season itself. Here we just follow this group of clever eccentric students who, under the influence of their charismatic teacher, do a lot of things which test their morality also, and because of this many strange, suspicious as well as mysterious things take place inside the institute. Again, another book which I've heard nothing but great things about, so I'm definitely overhyped for this. The only thing which I'm intimidated by is that it is a bit huge, and I'm not that much in the mood to read any huge books. Since many people say that this is the perfect kind of weather to read this one, I want to give it a chance and try how it goes for me. I read Truly Devious last year around the same time of the year, and I should say that I enjoyed that series so much. So I'm expecting the same kind of vibe from this one also. I hope I get it. So The Secret History by Donna Tartt is the next book in my TBR. The next one is a literary fiction book, and it is Trial by Silence by Perumal Murugan, translated to English by Aniruddhan Vasudevan. This is the last and final book inside the One Part Women series, which is a trilogy. The first book is One Part Women, the second one is A Lonely Harvest, which I'm currently reading, and the final one is this, which is A Lonely Harvest. Here we follow a couple, Kali and Ponna, sometime before the independence period if I'm not wrong. And the thing with Kali and Ponna is that they've been married for 12 years but they don't have any issues, and because of this, during the period in which the story takes place, they are blamed a lot and taunted by the society just because they don't have children. There are multiple other problems which also affect them just because they don't have children, and the only comfort they have is each other themselves. They are definitely a good couple, and there are also many instances during which both of the main characters in this one act in ways which you do not expect them to act at all. Since it is set in an old timeline also, there are many social issues that are addressed by the author really beautifully in this one. It is definitely not an easy breezy or light-hearted book to read. It takes a lot of effort emotionally, and that's the only reason I'm not able to finish the second book, because it is consuming a lot of energy for me emotionally. All three books are under 250 pages in length, but they have so much going on inside them. I hope to finish the second book in September so that I can get to this in October. Let's just wait and see. The next one in my TBR is not just a book but an author, and it is Alice Oseman. I'm showing this book in specific just because it goes well with the color theme that I've planned for this video, but I'm not sure whether I'll be reading this one first, because I've ordered Solitaire, which is the first book that was written by the author, and I've not received it yet. So once I receive it, I'll probably start with that and then all the other books in the chronological order they were published. I read Radio Silence in January, and ever since I've been wanting to read all of the author's works, except the other 3 full-length novellas, which are this one, Loveless and Solitaire. I've read all of the other works. Many people keep on saying to me that if I finish reading Radio Silence, none of the other works by the author will feel even nearly as good as Radio Silence. I'm just a bit bummed with it because I read it first and that book just connected with me in so many levels. I want to experience experience a lot more of that kind of writing from the author, and that's the only reason I'm planning to read this as well as the other 2 novels written by the author. I'm not sure whether I'll be finishing all of them in October itself, but I'm sure that I'll be finishing them by the end of this year. I don't know, I might even reread Radio Silence and Heartstopper altogether and even make a dedicated video for Alice Oseman itself. None of that is properly planned and organized by me yet, so let's just wait and see how it goes. Next one on my TBR is a Tamil book, and it is also the first book inside the series, which is the first book inside the Sivagamiyin SABATHAM series by Kalki again. I finished reading the entire Ponniyin Selvan series and made a dedicated playlist for that series in my channel. If you've not checked out my Ponniyin Selvan videos in English as well as Tamil, I'll try to link the playlist down in the description. Please do go forward and try it. It's definitely a series and story which needs to be experienced by each and every human being out there. I personally think everyone needs to read Ponniyin Selvan, and after having read that, I've decided to read each and everything that is written by Kalki. If I'm not wrong, he has written around 60 to 65 books, and considering that number, I am actually 10% into his works already because I've read 6 of his books until now. I don't know anything about Sivagamiyin Sabadam, but I'm sure that it is also going to be really good because after reading Ponniyin Selvan, I have utmost confidence in this author because he knows what he writes about and he has a beautiful writing style. Especially since I'm going to read it in Tamil also, I'm sure that it's going to be even more epic. And the person who has actually inspired me to read this is my mother, because this entire bind-up of the 4 books inside the series is almost 1200 pages long, and she read the entire thing in like 3 days. I cannot read the entire thing in October itself, but I'm going to try and read at least the first book because I know that this series is far shorter in length compared to Ponniyin Selvan. And just as I read these books also, I'll try to make Tamil videos for each and every one of the books in the channel again. I'm sure it will take some time for me to make those videos, but I'm definitely excited to dive into this new series as well. The last 2 books in this TBR are non-fiction books as usual, and the first non-fiction book is Karma, A Yogi's Guide to Crafting Your Destiny by Sadhguru. I've read only 2 other books by Sadhguru before. The first one is Death, an Inside Story, and the next one is Inner Engineering. I should say I like those books a lot because I gained a lot of knowledge from them, and the insight that they provide is also really nice. When it comes to spiritual books like this one, there are always going to be mixed reviews wherever and however we look for them. So I've decided not to look for any reviews for this one because after reading the blurb and synopsis of the book, it resonates with me in some way or the other. I want to give it a chance, read it slowly, and try to grasp as much as I can from this book. Let's just hope that it goes well. The last book in my TBR is How to Talk to Anyone by Leil Lowndes, which is a self-help book, and it is a self-help book on communication skills. Now, I'm a person who does not feel it difficult to do public speaking because I have done it many times in college as well as sometime in the past. So in terms of speaking, public speaking is not that great of a challenge for me. But the thing which is challenging for me is to start a conversation and keep it going because I'm not that kind of an extroverted person, and I don't feel comfortable to talk with strangers in a private way because I'm just not that kind of person. I know that it is also kind of a skill, and it also can be developed just like any other skill. Just in order to increase that skill of mine and improve in that aspect, I'm going to read this. So I hope this will be immensely helpful for me. Let's just wait and see how it goes. So yes guys, those are all the books in my October TBR, and if you've read any of these books, please do let me know down in the comments how they are and what I can expect from them. And if you did enjoy watching today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends. And if you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.